Okay, so this is lesson 22 we're on, so I'm recording it again as normal. Right, so I'm going to do it. This is inheritance. Alright, so as of now we have two files. So make sure you have, it's 22 we're on. I do have this online, but I'll be putting up an updated one when this is finished. Okay, so the main thing is we have an animal class. Okay, so at the very top of our tree we have animal. Now animal's got two variables. It's got a weight and it's got an age. Okay, now scroll down. I'm not going to even look at the methods. I can see that there's a class cow extends animal. Okay, so that means that cow is a subclass of animal. Animal is the superclass of cow. Okay, that means that every cow is also going to have a weight and an age. Why? Because it inherits these guys. Okay, now so that means that every cow is going to have its own weight. Every cow is going to have its own age. Scroll down the screen. We also see I have a zebra class. The zebra also extends animal. What other classes have we in it? We have a shark. Okay, so we have a shark. And we have a fly. That's the last one. Now, so that means that every fly has a weight and age. Every zebra has a weight and an age. Every cow has a weight and an age. Every shark has a weight and age. Even though they're not defined as own class, it inherits them from the animal class. Now, as well as inheriting variables, it can also inherit methods. So, what methods do I have in the animal class? I have, up here, I have an eat method. I have a move method. I have a reproduce method. Okay, I have a reproduce method, and I have a breed method. Okay, so that means that each of these classes as well inherit it. Okay, that means every fly is going to breed, eat, move, and reproduce. Every zebra is going to breed, eat, move, and reproduce. Every cow is going to breed, eat, move, and reproduce. Every shark is going to breed, eat, move, and reproduce. Okay, now, so I'm going to scroll down the screen. First animal I did details on is the cow. Now, this guy here, this is just the default value. If I don't give an age to the cow is going to have an age of 1000. Okay, that's all that is. Okay, but we can give an age to our cow. But we don't have constructors in the class because constructors are slightly more complicated when it comes to inheritance. Alright, so that means that the cow is going to have each one of the four methods: breed, eat, move, and reproduce. Okay, now so go down here. Now it does have an eat method in the class. Alright, now when you have an eat method in the class, what we're doing here is we have to make sure if it's the same method signature. Now the method signature is this part plus the same return signature. That means that it's overridden. Okay, so what happens is the cow class, the zebra class, the fly class, the shark class, they will look in their own class first for an eat method. If they can't find an eat method in its own class, it'll go to the animal class and see is there an eat method there. Okay, now but the method signature and the return type has to be the same if you're overriding it. Okay, so void eat. It's a void eat in the animal class, so this one is overridden. Okay, so the cow class looks in its own class for eat. Now, We don't have a breed method in the cow class. We don't have a move method in the cow class. We don't have a reproduce method in the cow class. So that means when a cow calls the reproduce method, it's taking the reproduce method from the animal class. When a cow calls the move method, it takes the move method from the animal class. When a cow calls the breed method, it takes the breed method from the animal class. All right. When it calls eat method, it sees that there's an eat method in its own class. And what does it do? It'll call the eat method in the cow class. Everyone with me so far? Yes? Okay. So if I can't find it in its own class, it'll look in its superclass. Now, if I want to call the eat method in the superclass, the keyword is super. Super.eat. Now, super only works for the class that it directly inherits from. Okay? If I had another one, let's say life was my superclass, then I had a subclass called animal. Then I had a subclass called cow. And if I had an eat method in each one of them. Okay? If I'm in the cow class and I go super dot eat, it'll take it from the animal class. Okay? You can't go super dot super to get the eat method in the life class. Alright? What you actually have to do is you'd have to create a life object and then you would access the eat method of the life class in here. Okay? So super will just get you the class that it directly inherits from, not from the life class. Does everyone understand that? Okay? So super is just going up a level. That's all super is. Yeah? Then it's not a valid method. It doesn't exist. Okay? If it wasn't in the animal class, what it does then, it actually starts in the object class. The object class is the super class of everything. Now, the only methods that we're going to be using from the object class, there's going to be two of them. We're going to be looking at one called the toString method. Actually, it's going to be three of them. There's another one called the equals method, and there's another one called the hash code method. Okay, we will be overwriting each one of those. Now, it's overriding is the term, but actually what you're doing is you're overwriting your method. Okay, but it's overriding is the actual term. All right, now, so I'm going to take this guy out. Now, as well in the cow class, I have got a drink method now. Hi, Lisa. Yeah, it is. Joan, yeah. Okay, so should she get paid all the same? She was there this morning, is it? Okay, alright, so Joe. Oh, thanks, Lisa. We'll see you. Bye. Right. Right. Now, we also have a drink method in the cow class. Now, drink method is only available to cows. Okay? Class cow extends animal, and we can see we have a drink method. Now, the drink method isn't available to the animal class, which makes sense. Okay? The drink method is available to the cow class and all classes that are going to inherit from a cow class. So if we have another class called Frisian, okay? So if I go down here and if I go class Frisian extends cow, okay? I actually can't turn those speakers off and it's really annoying. Alright, so that means that the Frisian class does have a drink method. Okay, it gets the drink method from the cow class. Okay, so when I have a drink method here in the cow class, that means that only cows can drink. Okay, any subclass of cow can drink, or a simpler way to put it, all cows can drink. All breeds of cows can drink, but not all animals can drink. Does everyone understand that? So everything that's a subclass of the cow class can drink. All cows can drink. So it's trying to get us to think like, or get machines to think the way we think. Okay, that's the whole idea of object oriented. So I scroll down to the zebra class. Now zebra has nothing in it. So, but zebra does have a weight and an age. It can breathe, it can eat, it can move and reproduce. Okay, it gets all of those four methods from the animal class. It has two attributes that it inherits from the animal class. Okay, so a zebra can have its own weight, a zebra can have its own age. Okay, zebra breathes, eats, moves, and reproduces. Why? Because it's an animal, and all animals can do those four things. Yes? Okay. We'll go down here. Shark. Now, a shark has got a weight, got an age. He can breathe, he can eat, he can move, he can reproduce. He can do all those four things because he is an animal. Now, so, however, when a shark eats, it looks in its own class first. So it sees the first thing it sees in here, eat. Okay? So when a shark eats, it's calling the eat method from its own class. It doesn't have to go to the animal class. Similarly, when it breathes, it calls the breathe method in its own class. It doesn't have to go to the animal class. And as I said, when it's overriding, all of these have to match. What has to match when you're overriding? It has to be, the return type has to be an int. One of its variables has to be a string. The other variable has to be a string. Okay? So, and it has to be the same name. So when you're overriding, it has to be the same name. It has to be the same return type. It has to be the same variable types. The order of variables as well. Okay? The name doesn't matter. var1 and var2. The name of your attributes do not matter. Okay? So, shark is going to call a shark. It eats by attacking its prey. It's going to breathe by here. Now, a shark has got its own method here called attack. Okay? So, this attack method is only available to shark and to no other animal. Okay, so only sharks can attack. So if you had class animal, not all animals can attack. Okay, only sharks can attack. If you had class great white extends shark, then the great white will also attack. If you had class tiger shark extends shark, that shark can also attack. So all sharks can attack. Okay. Go scroll down here. Class fly. Now a fly can breathe, a fly can move, a fly can reproduce. It gets the breathe, move, and reproduce method from the animal class. Eat. There is an eat method in the animal class, but there's also an eat method in the fly class. So that means it's going to use the eat method from the fly class. Okay, so that's our class done out. Now we're going to show you when you create methods of each one of those, where they're calling stuff from. Okay, so I'm going to go back to main. Okay, so I'm going to go back to main. And I went slightly ahead of it here, so I did here, I created a cow. Okay, first of all I created an animal end. I'm going to run this. So this is a special object. This is an animal object. Okay, now in reality, is there any such thing as something that's just an animal? Is there?
No.
No. Okay, think about it. Animal is a collection of things that are all living. So a fly is an animal, a dog is an animal, a cocker spaniel is an animal, a seal is an animal, a blue whale is an animal. Okay? There's never something that's just an animal. Alright? But now there's something else we can do about that. But for now, you can just put in Java in here, we're creating an animal object. Okay? I call this object Andy. Now, Andy.move, Andy.eat, Andy.reproduce, Andy.breathe. Okay? Andy gets all of its methods from the animal class because it is an animal object and nothing else. Okay? It isn't a particular type of animal, it's just a generic animal. So that's the animal method from the move method from the animal class. That's the eat method from the animal class. That's the reproduce method from the animal class. That's the breathe method from the animal class. Okay? Those four is that guy there. Then I created a cow. The cow was called Bessie. Okay? Scroll down the screen. Now, Bessie has got a move method, Bessie's got a reproduce method, Bessie's got a breathe method. Now, Bessie she doesn't have a move method, so cow extends animal. Alright? That means that all the methods that are in the animal class, they're available to the cow class. Now, these three methods here are all taken from the animal class. The reason being is because Bessie checks her own class to see is there a move method in it. There isn't. She goes to the animal class. Yeah, the move method is in the animal class. Bessie.reproduce. She checks her own class to see does she have a reproduce method that takes no variables, that returns nothing. There isn't one. She checks the animal class. It's there. Takes it from the animal class. Breathe. Bessie checks her own class, cow, to see is there a method called breathe that returns nothing, that returns an int and takes a string and an int. Okay, there is none in her own class, however, there is one in the animal class. So all three of those, we can see it's animal moving, animal reproducing, animal breathing. Okay, they're all taken from the animal class. Now, however, scroll down the screen here. When I go Bessie.eat, I go Bessie.eat. Now, what happens there is, Bessie will check her own cow class first to see is there a method that returns nothing, that takes no attributes, called eat. Yes, there is. Okay, and what does that do? I am a cow eating. Then it'll print off the age of the cow. Then it'll print off the super.age. So all of this here is that method here, Bessie.eat, because it's getting the eat method from the it's getting the eat method from the cow class. Does everyone understand that? So if you can't find the method in its own class, it'll search its superclass. If it can't find it in the superclass, then it's not a valid method and you get an error. Does everyone understand that? Yeah? Okay. Now, so I'm just going to comment out these guys because I kind of went ahead of it. I will come on to them again. Now Bessie also has its own drink method. Bessie.drink. Now, it's got a few drink methods. It's got one that takes no variables. It's got one that takes an int. It's got one that takes a double and an int. It's got one that takes a string and a double. So I'm just going to call the one with an int. So, I'm going to run those. So drink method with no variables. Drink method with no variables. I don't know why it's printed out twice. Drink method with int. Okay, so what are these ones here? These are overloaded. So this is a overloaded drink method, one which takes no variables, and the other that takes an int. Okay. Now, so Bessie is just an ordinary cow. Okay, there's nothing special about this just because she's overridden. So let's say if I wanted to get the age of Bessie, I go Bessie.age. The age of Bessie is 1000. Okay, so where's it getting the age from? Because if I go to the animal class, if I go to the cow class, I'm giving Bessie a default age of 1000. Okay, every cow will have a default age of 1000. Does everyone understand that? Okay, now you can change the age of the cow, no problem with doing that. Alright, now, so I'm going to go down here and I'm going to create myself a zebra. Z-E-B-R-A, but I'm going to call it Zo is equal to new zebra. Now, zebra, if we look at it, save that, zebra has nothing inside it. Okay, yes, if I go to here, I go Zo dot Zo can eat, Zo can move, Zo can reproduce, Zo can breed. Just put in a string, a name, Patsy, and an int. I'm going to send it in number 4. Okay, so now all of these methods are taken from the animal class, as none of them are overridden in the zebra class. So if I go zo.eat, okay, if I go zo.eat, I have animal eating. If I have zo.move, I have animal moving. If I go zo.reproduce, I got animal reproducing. If I got zo.breed, I have animal breeding. Okay, so we can see what it's doing there is that it's taking its implementation from the animal class. Yes? Everything so far, yeah? Okay. Now, let's go back to here. Now, so this is animal class eat method. This is animal class eat, animal class move method, animal class reproduce method, and finally animal class breed method. Okay, now I'm going to create a shark. So I'll call the shark Bruce. Okay, now Here's the comment. Only a shark has access to a attack method, because only a shark has a attack method in it. It's not overridden from the base animal class. Now, if we had an attack method in the animal class, then all animals could attack. Alright? You only put in the animal class where you want all animals to have or do. So all the attributes you want an animal to have, you put them in the animal class. All the methods you want all animals to do, you put them in the animal class as well. Now, we don't want every animal to attack, so the only unique thing a shark can do is this, which would be Bruce dot attack. Okay, see it there. Run that. We can see shark attacks by biting huge bites. Also, a shark eats in a different way. A shark eats by attacking its prey. Okay, so what is this one? Attack. This is a method unique to only sharks. Okay, so this is an overridden eat method. Okay, the shark class has its own eat method. Everyone with me so far, yeah? Okay. Now, lastly, I'm going to go create a new class, our new object. This is Freddy the Fly. And do I have a pig? Don't think I have a pig. So I have sharks, I have flies, and I have zebras. Okay. So if we go to the animal class, and if we see fly has its own eat method. Okay, fly has its own eat method. So if I go to here, if I go Freddy.eat, so a shark eats by attacking its prey. A fly eats by regurgitating its food. Okay. A cow eats by inside eat method. Cow is age 1000, blah blah blah. Okay. So we have different objects that eat different ways. Yes? Everyone with me so far, yeah? So put it in here. A fly, a shark, and a cow all eat in different ways. Okay? I'm going to put in one other class. I'm going to put in a class called, actually Frisian. I'm going to go class pig extends animal. I'm just going to do a void eat method for the pig. And it's going to say, so I am a pig eating. Okay. So what's this? This is just a pig class. And I have class Frisian extends cow. Alright. So I am going to create a pig. Okay, I'm going to create a pig. I'm going to call this Pippa. Let's equal to new pig. Then I'm going to create a Frisian. I'm going to call this Frisian Freddy. Save this. Can't call it Freddy. I'm going to call it Francis. Okay, so my animals are as following. So here are all the animals I have. I have Pippa the pig. I have Francis the Frisian. I have Freddy the fly. I have Bruce the shark. What else do I have? I have Zoe the zebra. And I have Bessie the cow. Right. What's the one common factor amongst all of those things?
Yeah, they're all animals.
They're all animals. Okay, that's the first thing. So even if you don't understand object-oriented programming, you know that a pig, a Frisian, a fly, a shark, a zebra, and a cow, they are all animals. Okay, that's what you need to know. So the fact that they're all animals is you can do stuff like this. I am going to create an array of animals. Okay, and I'm going to call this a zoo. Now, a pig is an animal. A Frisian is an animal. A fly is an animal. A shark is an animal. A zebra is an animal. A cow is an animal. Okay? So, what you have here is you have a collection of animals. So, as I said, an array can be primitive, can be an array of numbers, can be an array of characters, it can also be an array of objects. Alright, so previously we made an array of dogs. We do something like this. We'd go dog, square bracket, and I'll call it dog array is equal to, so I put in my names of my dog here, Spot, Rex, so on and so forth. Okay, so the data type here would match the data type here. Now, there is a slight addendum to that rule. Okay, the superclass here, you can have a subclass this side. Okay, or quite simply put, these guys here are all animals, so there's no conflict with that there. Do we understand that? So the rule is you can have a superclass reference to a subclass object or objects. Alright? Or simply put, these are all animals. Simple as that. Okay? So animal zoo, that means you can have also as well, you can have something like this. Now I do have an animal object called Andy. Okay? So I have Pippa, Francis, Freddy, Bruce, Zoe, Bessie, and Andy. Pippa is a cow, Francis is a fly, Francis is a Frisian, Freddy is a fly, Bruce is a shark, Zoe is a zebra, Bessie is a cow, Andy is an animal. Okay? So you can put in all animals into an array of animals. When you have an array of superclass type, it can consist of all subclass objects. Okay? These are all animals. Yes? Do you understand that? So that's the simplest way of put. Now, what you can do with this is, here's our overriding. You might think, well, what's all this overriding stuff? What's good about it? Alright. Now, so every animal can eat, every animal can move, every animal can reproduce. And what else can every animal do? Let me have a look. Eat, move, reproduce, and eat, move, reproduce. Okay, and breathe. I'm not going to bother about breathe because it's got inks and all that shit. Okay, so every animal can eat, move, reproduce. Okay, so let me show what you can do. So that means if I do something like this, zoo 0 eat. Now zoo 0 eat is this guy. Pippa is a pig, so it'll print off I'm a pig eating. Yes? Yes? Okay. If I go zoo 1 dot eat, or that's going to go to this guy here, and that's a Francis is a Frisian. Now, so what it does is it goes to its own class. It looks for an eat method in its own class. There is no eat method in a Frisian class. There is an eat method in the cow class. So that is going to print off I am a cow eating. Now, just to show you why this is useful. So you can see you can call an eat method for each one of these. The reason you can call an eat method for each one of these is that there's an eat method in the animal class. You can call a move method for each one of these. The reason you can call a move method for each one of these is because there's a move method in the animal class. You can call a reproduce method for each one of these. The reason you can call a reproduce method for each one of these is because there's a reproduce method in the animal class. You can call a breed method for each one of these. The reason you can call a breed method for each one of these is because there's a breed method in the animal class. Okay? So you can devise a loop that can do this, for instance. Okay? So I am going to create a loop. So I'm going to go for let's see, hold on. Int I is equal to 0. I is less than zoo dot length I plus plus. Okay. So if I go zoo 0 I dot eat. Now, so I'm going to just put a print statement above it here. So what it does here, call each eat method for each animal in the zoo. Okay, so it's gonna go here. So where am I calling? Alright, so we start off here. Alright, so what it does, zoo I dot eat, so it goes to zoo 1 dot eat, which is this guy here. It's going to go I am a pig eating, or zoo 0 dot eat, I am a pig eating. This one here, Francis is a Frisian. There's no eat method in the Frisian class, there is an eat method in the cow class, so it takes this eat method from the cow class. So zoo 1 dot eat is going to say I am a cow eating. Inside eat method cow age is 1000, inside eat method age of animal is 10. Okay, animal eating. Okay, so that's all for the eat method. Okay, for the Frisian. The next one, Freddy. Freddy is a fly, and this is zoo 2 dot eat. Okay, zoo 2 dot eat. Freddy is a fly. I eat by regurgitating my food. Next one is zoo 3 dot eat. That's a shark. Bruce. We get the eat method from the shark class, which is a shark eats by attacking its prey. Now, zoo. This is zoo 4 dot eat. Okay. Zoo is a zebra. Zebra doesn't have an eat method, it's an own class. It takes the eat method from the animal class, so it prints off animal eating. Bessa, which is zoo 5 dot eat. Okay, I am a cow eating. She has an eat method in its own class. Finally, Andy, that's an animal. That is zoo 6 dot eat. That is following animal eating. Okay, so what you have here is a way for a group of objects to do certain tasks that might be similar, but they could be implemented in a totally different way. Think of you have 10 different types of character moving across your screen. One of them is a bird, one of them is a fish, one of them is a horse, one of them is a dragon. Okay, a bird moves across the screen by flying. A fish moves across the screen by swimming. A horse moves across the screen by galloping. A dragon moves across the screen by rampaging. Okay? There are 4 different objects, but they all have a single method called move. So this type of structure here will allow multiple objects to do something that is similar, but is implemented in a totally different way. Okay? That is the benefit of inheritance. Yes?
Yeah. Or there,
Yeah.
you call method like ring or tap.
Wouldn't work.
Obviously, most of those objects don't have that.
Wouldn't work.
Wouldn't work.
No.
It's working there.
Yeah, I'll show you. Okay, so only cows and all subclasses of cows can drink. Only sharks can attack.
Okay.
So if I go here and if I go zoo I dot drink, it doesn't exist because not all animals can drink. Similarly, yeah, well, no, it won't compile. It won't work. Okay, so that does not work as only cows can drink. Only sharks can attack. Okay, so neither of these will compile.
So whatever you have to call has to apply to everything in the way.
Exactly. Okay, or simply way.
What's stated in like animal?
Yeah, whatever stated in animal. So only what methods are in animal
Sorry.
can be called here.
Let's say it's all will be like no let's say
Zo's a zebra. Yeah.
no animal zoo.
Yeah.
Actually, it will be. Let's say it will be less or different. Like it's actually all these names. Yes.
Yeah.
It's for this.
Yeah. All these
It's
names.
Like, if it's stated, it's. But let's say like attack. Yes.
Yeah.
If will be let's say 3 different like
Sharks.
shark. No, not only shark. Shark. Let's say dog and I'm not sure. Dragon.
Okay. If they had
All they have attack. Yes.
if it's in the animal class, You have to have it in the animal class.
Like dog, shark, and we have a dog, but if not stated in the animal class,
Doesn't work.
ah,
Even if you have an attack method,
to everyone.
yeah, it's still not going to work. Okay, so only methods first created and defined in the animal class can be used by the objects in this array. Okay, so you can't go zoo.attack, zoo.drink. Now, even though Bessie, so not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now Bessie is a cow. Yeah, or let me have a look. Francis is a Frisian. Okay, so the second one. So if I go zoo 1, which is Francis the Frisian. Okay, yeah? Francis is a Frisian. Jeez, that's hard to say. Okay, Francis is a Frisian. Even the fact that it's, and Francis does have a drink method inside it. Now, even if I do this, doesn't work because what determines what method can be called is that guy. Okay, it's the reference what determines whether you can call a drink method or not. Now, that would have to be at least a cow. If that was a cow reference, then yes, Francis could call the drink method. However, that would not work because Pip is not a cow, Freddy's not a cow, Bruce is not a cow, Zoe is not a cow, Andy's not a cow.
So it's mean what super class cannot see what in lower classes.
Superclass can see what's in lower classes. Okay, subclasses can see what's in other subclasses. Okay, like you have cow has a method called milk. Okay, and a bird has a method called fly. Now, they both inherit from the animal class. Now, a method in the animal class could be eat. Okay, so cow sees eat, bird sees eat. Bird can't see milk, cow can't see fly. Subclasses can't see what's in each other classes.
Yes, I understand, but like you now stated like animal. If stated animal, so we can use only eat, move, reproduce,
Yeah.
eat. But if we will do cow, it can drink.
Say what again?
I mean, what like class animal
Yeah.
cannot access what
Ca-
inside cow.
No. Can't access milk.
Superclass cannot
Yeah.
access like
Yeah.
normal class.
Or simply put, an animal is not only a cow. An animal is not only a bird. Alright? So, a bird can fly, a cow can milk. Alright? However, when you do something like this, that means only methods that were first created in the animal class. That's only what's available to all of these guys. Now, they can have their own implementation of it. Pippa has its own eat method. Francis takes his eat method from the cow class. Freddy has its own eat method. Bruce is a shark, has its own eat method. Zoe doesn't have its own eat method, it takes it from the animal class. Bessie takes its eat method from the cow class. Andy takes the eat method from the animal class. Okay? But they only have access to the 4 methods: eat, move, reproduce, and breathe. Is that okay? And it only has access to 2 variables as well: age and weight. If you have other variables in subclasses, it doesn't have access to them either. Okay? Now, so I'm just going to count that out. So this guy here. Yeah.
Let's see, in your for loop, will be printed like all these. But if I want in the same way like put on a poll
Yeah.
To tell what's like chart path.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you want, right. So if you want to go for
No, I will do chart what's like this.
if you want your shark to attack, right, you can't have animal on the left hand side. It has to be a shark.
No, I mean they'll define this.
Yeah.
And in Poland, like after shark will be printed like how eating.
Oh yeah, yeah.
To print like
yeah.
yeah.
You can have the attack method inside the eat method shark. Yes. And that's how you'd actually do it. What he's saying there is, let me just show you. So just comment that. If I go to the animal class, I go to the shark class. So void eat. A shark eats by attacking its prey. Now, so what you can have inside here is attack. Okay. So you can have an attack method inside the eat method inside the animal class, which makes sense. Okay. How does a shark eat? By attacking. Okay. That's what you said? Yeah. So yeah. So when they say you can't call it attack method if in the animal class, yes, but you can have the attack method inside the eat method. Okay, that's how you do it. You have methods calling methods. That's the way it works. Okay, so I'll put this back here. Back to main. So this one here. Now, even though Francis is a cow, it's a Frisian. It's a Frisian. It does not have access to the drink method and this array, as this is an array of animals, and each of these objects in this array only has access to methods first created and defined in the animal class. Now, to further explain this, right? So, just going to scroll out these guys. So, now what we have here is effectively a superclass reference to a subclass object. So you can have something like this. I am going to go animal. I'm going to call it a in shark is equal to new shark. Now, this is what this is. Here, this is an animal reference to a shark object. I'm just going to comment out. I'm just at shark here again, and I'm commenting out the attack part. Okay. Similarly, I can have a animal reference, animal a in cow, to a cow object. Okay. There's an animal reference to a shark object, and this is an animal reference to a cow object. Now, the reason I'm spending such a long time with this is because this is really important. All right, we're going to be using something, maybe even this evening, something called interfaces, which are fairly important to do with this sort of stuff. Okay, so the rule is you can have a superclass reference. References just as simple as the name to a subclass object or a way to read it, a shark is an animal. A cow is an animal. Yes? Okay? An animal is not a cow. An animal is not a shark. Even saying that just doesn't sound right. Okay? A shark is an animal. A cow is an animal. You can have a superclass reference to a subclass object. Now that means with shark, this object here, oh, let me just show you. Now there is an attack method. It doesn't have access to the attack method. See there? Does not have access to the attack method. Now if I go eat, so it says yes, there's an eat method in the animal class. Okay, that's why you can call the eat method. Then it checks to see, is there an eat method in its own class? Yes, there is. So that one is going to print off a shark eats by attacking its prey. Okay, so when you have a superclass reference to a subclass object, you can only call methods that were first defined in the superclass. So this object has only a, just before you go, eat, move, reproduce, and breed method. But so when it determines it has these 4 methods, it will then check its own class to see if it has a implementation for any of these methods. Okay, so there is an eat method in the animal class. Then, so that's the way it works. So it checks the animal class first to see is there an eat method. Yes, there is. Okay, so that means it will compile. Then it checks the shark class to see is there an eat method in that. So it'll take its implementation from the shark class. Go for a bag. Okay. I'll have to get you to sign something to after a lunch.
forget it.
Hold on. Alright, so start recording again. So here we have an animal reference to a cow object. Okay, which is superclass reference to a subclass object. Okay, so process is. So checks animal. So I'm gonna down here. I'm gonna go in cow dot eat. So what it does, checks animal for eat method. Okay, checks on class for implementation for its own eat method. Calls eat method in cow class. So it'll always check the upper class first to see when you have a superclass reference to a subclass object, it'll check its superclass first to see does an eat method exist. Okay? If it doesn't exist in the animal class, then you can't call it. Okay? Now, there is a drink method in the cow class. There is a drink method in the cow class. However, what determines if a method can be called is the reference. What's that? That's the data type on the left hand side. Not the object. Okay. The object is what's on the right hand side. What's on the left hand side. So I just need to change this in a second. Oh, sorry there. No, I should have this in. Right. So there's the drink method in the cow class. However, what determines the method can. Okay. If a method can be called, left hand side, not the object. Okay. So if I go this, in cow dot drink does not compile because this is an animal reference to a cow object and there is no drink method. However, there is no drink method in the animal class. So only cow references. So only objects with a cow reference can call the drink method. Okay, so what's on the left hand side is probably more important than what's on the right hand side. Okay, so you can have a superclass reference to a subclass object. A cow is an animal. Simple as that. Okay, so only cows. So just to prove that is again. So I comment out this guy. So this will not compile. The reason it won't compile is because that method doesn't exist in effect. Okay, so this will not compile. So I'll comment that out. Comment it in to see the error. Right. And just to prove it, Bessie is a cow reference, so let's put it in here. Bessie is a cow reference. Oh, sorry. What's the Frisian called? I'm just going up the screen a minute. What did I call my Frisian?
Francis.
Francis. That's it. Thanks. Okay. Francis is a Frisian, which is a cow. And only cows have the drink method. Okay, so I can go Francis.drink. No problem. Okay, Francis does have the drink method. Bessie does have the drink method because both of them are cows. Okay, both of them are cows. Now, Francis has a Frisian reference, but a Frisian is a cow. Does everyone understand me there? Okay, so you can think of whatever you want, but just think Francis is a Frisian. Or superclass reference to a subclass object, you can say a cow is an animal. Okay, so Francis is free to use a cow, only cows have drink method, so this will work. But an animal reference to a cow object only has access to 4 methods. It does not have access to the drink method. Just like shark, if I have an animal reference to a shark object, it does not have access to the attack method. So in shirk dot attack. Put it here. Only shark references or a subclass of shark can attack. Simple as that. Okay. But this is an animal reference to a shark object. Now this becomes a lot more important when we start doing interfaces. When we start doing something called lambdas, alright, it becomes a lot more important. Now, just to prove, so you can have a superclass reference to a subclass object. You can't have it the other way around. Okay, so if I go, for instance, cow, and I go C animal is equal to U animal. Does not work. If I go Frisian and I call it C Frisian, she fresh is equal to new cow. Does not compile. Okay, so I'll put this here. You can't have a subclass reference to a superclass object, or in other words, an animal is not just a cow. That's one way of putting it. Okay, a cow is an animal. A cow is, so I'll put this in caps. A cow is an animal. However, a animal is not only a cow. Let's describe it. Okay, so a cow is an animal. An animal is not only a cow. An animal is any animal. Okay, so these will not compile. Will not compile. Now they're very fond of asking these sort of questions in the exam. Okay, you have a superclass and you have a subclass. So you have to have the superclass on the left hand side. You have to have the subclass on the right hand side. Okay, superclass reference to a subclass object. Yes? Okay. Now, alright, so I'm going to save that and I'm going to export it. So go to here, I go to export, I go to archive file, and this is going to be a new 22 file. So if you want to upload this one, delete the existing 22 file you have on your own workspace and put in this one instead. Yep. Okay. Right, so the next one is 23. So I'm going to close this now. This is more kind of just practice using inheritance. All right. So I'm going to go File, New, and this is going to be Java project. This is going to be F23. Finish.